Yeah, we back. Now today's gonna be a quick video. It's gonna be a follow-up to the one I dropped yesterday entitled Debunking Tariq Nasheed Foot Soldier. So now we gotta come back, once again. Now yesterday's video was classic. Some of my best work, right? If I was a Tariq Nasheed foot soldier, I'd be embarrassed after that video. I would have revoked my membership. But anyways, today we are back again. With another episode of Debunking Propaganda. Now, the same guy we were talking about yesterday, as you can see, right? The son of the colonists. That's how I'm going to refer to this guy, right? He's the son of the colonists. Now, once again, he is back again. Yesterday, he was attacking the Haitian Revolution. Now he is attacking Haitian women. Haitian women who work in the garment industry, who work in American factories in Haiti. He is attacking them for the minimum wage down in Haiti, right? So we're going to get into the clip and I'm going to come back with my commentary. Let's go.
They weren't lying when they said black Americans are the richest black people on planet Earth, because check out these hourly wages in the Caribbeans. Big Haiti's coming in at a 41 cents an hour. Whoa, if that was me, I'll be on my Kurt Franklin. Do you want a revolution? Woo, woo. I mean, that is what they known for, right? Did they gain their independence or was it yellow fever?
Now, let's get into it. Now, first things first, one thing we got to understand is that in other nations, they don't live and survive the way we do in the United States, right? They don't go work for a company and things like that and go earn by a wage and salary. The vast majority of the population is involved in, informal economic activities, right? Like selling things at the market or selling a service or trading or, craftsmanship or agriculture, farming, things like that. So the vast majority of the population is not earning a wage, right? It's only a fraction of the population that might work in, factories, mainly for like American companies, things like that. That's what he's talking about when it comes to the wage, right? And it's ironic because take a look up on the screen. The United States fought to lower the minimum wage in Haiti so Hanes and Levi's could stay cheap, right? So when this guy is bragging about the minimum wage in Haiti, he's basically bragging on behalf of guys like Stephen Bratspies, right? The CEO of Hanes, right? He's basically cheerleading for, the white man. When he's bragging about the minimum wage, he's basically cheerleading on behalf of Michelle Gass, right? The CEO of Levi Strauss, right? Because that's who benefits from the minimum wage, right? And the vast majority of individuals who work in this sector, in the garment sector, are Haitian women who work in these American factories. And I'm pretty sure these women are not on social media going back and forth with you. So why all this hostility towards Haitian women? Oh, I forgot, you the son of the colonists. Guys like you, especially on the French colony of Saint-Domingue, you held black women in bondage back in the day. You and your white father. Guys like you, we know about you, right? So of course you have hostility and vitriol towards black women, Haitian women, because look at you, brother. You the son of the colonists, right? You the son of the colonists. So history has shown us that this behavior is typical of those from your stock, right? When the white man gets money, when the white man is victorious, you feel like those victories rub off on you as the son of the colonists, right? And don't get into my comment section because this guy right here, he is truly the son of the colonists, right? Take a look up on the screen.
Because when was the last time you seen a black American look like this, right? There's no black Americans that look like this. I don't even need to know his name. I don't even need to hear him speak. I know he's African. And let's not talk about the tribal Africans, the ones that's in their natural form, that's not modernized, right? When the last time you seen a black American look like this? And I'm going to keep going. Here's another picture. Here's another one. And another one. I mean, bro.
So like I said, when you see me, crack my jokes about the fact that he's carrying European pedophile blood, listen, let me get my jokes off, because obviously he's getting his jokes off, right? If the son of the colonists can crack jokes on African phenotypes, then I can definitely crack jokes on the fact that he's carrying the blood of pedophiles. Now, take a look up on the screen. Back in 2011, leaked cables showed us that the U.S. Embassy aided apparel giants Levi's and Hanes in their fight against an increase in Haiti's minimum wage, right? Now, he said if that was him, I would start a revolution. Brother, you don't think Haitians have taken to the streets for an increase in the minimum wage? Haitians have taken to the streets so much that it's become redundant. It's like, how many times can you take to the streets? We take to the streets so goddamn much, it's become cliche at this point. It's become expected, right? The government knows, oh, damn, they about to take to the streets, right? It's like, how many times can you burn your own shit down? We've been taken to the streets, right? But in typical fashion, right, just like Dennis Sperling filing a lawsuit against me instead of filing a lawsuit against the U.S. government, this guy, right, the son of the colonists, the bastard child of the colonists, he wants to attack Haitian women working in the garment sector instead of attacking the State Department that enforced the minimum wage. Bunch of clowns, right? A bunch of white ass kissers, right? A bunch of sons of the colonists, a bunch of children of pedophiles. Anyway, let's continue. Do you think Walmart benefits from low minimum wages in Haiti where Hanes and Levi's are manufactured? Well, regardless of what your answer is, the answer is yes, they do benefit. They actually buy Hanes from Hanes, the company. The less Hanes costs to buy, the more margin of profit that Walmart can make. Now, essentially what they're saying is the reason why the U.S. State Department enforced the lower minimum wage is to protect the profit margins of their companies, right? To protect the consumer, to be able to give the consumer an affordable product, right? Because the consumer is accustomed to being able to get, cheap t-shirts and, $5 t-shirts and $20, $30 jeans and things like that, coming out with new collections and different, choices and different, apparel lines, right? So in order to protect the American consumer, they decided to step on the neck of the Haitian woman working in the garment sector, right? And because you're the bastard child of the colonists, you think that the white man's victories is also your victory, right? It's a lot of guys like you, right? Like you mentioned in the video yesterday, right? The Haitians that went to Louisiana, a lot of them felt like if the white man was defeated, then I'm also defeated. So they left following the white colonists to go to Louisiana, right? The same way you feel like if the white man is victorious, then I'm also victorious. That's why you're bragging about the profit margins of Hanes and Levi's, right? And American companies stepping on the neck of Haitian women in the garment sector, right? You feel like their victory is your victory because you're the bastard child of the European colonists. And in fact, did you know that in the French colony of Saint-Domingue, that about 1/4 of all plantation owners were the sons of the colonists, right? Which means that guys like you who look just like you had black women in bondage working for free. That's why when you see the United States government stepping on the neck of Haitian women in the garment sector, you don't feel no type of way because that's in your blood. The same way you made that video talking about African phenotypes and African skull shapes and African head shapes is because it's that same mentality of the son of the colonists, right? I'm better than you because I have European blood, right? I have more European blood, therefore I'm of superior stock, right? That's why you guys always bragging about your admixture. Oh, I'm mixed with this. I got the Native American in this, and we got the European in this, and we only got a tiny bit of the African, right? Always bragging about your admixture, right? So, like I said, you guys have the mentality of the son of the colonists, right? That's why in 1799, Toussaint Louverture declared war against André Rigaud. That's why in 1807, Christophe declared war against Alexander Pétion, because that's what it is. I understand why those men did what they did. I understand why Toussaint Louverture marched into the South with his sword in his hand and conquered the South. I understand why Christophe grabbed his weapon, marched to the South looking for Alexander Pétion to put his head on a pike. I understand why, right? I understand why those men did what they did. But anyways, I want to switch lanes for a little bit just to highlight something. Take a look up on the screen. Take a look at this headline. More than 100 United States political elites have family links to slavery, right? Reuters found that at least 8% of Democrats in the last Congress and 28% of Republicans have such ancestors. The preponderance of Republicans reflects the party's strength in the South, where slavery was concentrated. Although white people enslaved blacks across northern states in early America, by the eve of the Civil War, slavery was almost entirely a Southern enterprise. Now, that's why I don't understand why Dennis Sperling is suing me when the money that he wants to sue for is still in circulation, right? They're still spending the old slave money from back in the day, right? The U.S. senators, right? The governors, the former presidents, the high officials, right? That money is still in circulation. It's in trust funds. It's in hedge funds. It's in land ownership. It's in university endowments, right? The money is still available. But instead of confronting them for that money, you want to sit around and talk about Haitian women in the garment sector and bragging about the money that Hanes and Levi's are making. And Dennis Sperling wants to sue me instead of suing the United States, right? That's why nobody respects this movement. Nobody respects this movement. There's no courageous black men in this movement, right? Guys sitting around trying to sue young black men like myself. Guys sitting around cracking jokes on Haitian women that are suffering on behalf of American corporations. Like I said, man, these dudes is really a shame. It's really a shame. Now, this guy, he not a black man. So I was going to say these guys bring shame to the image of black men. But really, he's not a black man. This is the son of the colonists right here, right? This is the son of the colonists. He not one of us for real. He the bastard child of the colonists. Anyways, let's continue. I want to address one last point that he made in the video.
They gained their independence, or was it yellow fever? They gained their independence, or was it yellow fever?
Now, in that part of the clip, once again, taking an underhanded jab at the Haitian Revolution, saying that it was actually yellow fever that decimated the Europeans, and it wasn't the black man's military science. It wasn't the black man's, natural intelligence on the battlefield and manipulating the enemy and defeating the enemy and simply coming out on top victorious. It wasn't the black man. No, it was the yellow fever. It was the mosquitoes. It wasn't the black man, right? Basically regurgitating the lies that was spread by the propagandists of Napoleon Bonaparte, because that's where that originated from, right? The propagandists of Napoleon. They were the ones that said, we did not lose to the black man, we lost to the mosquitoes, right? That's how they ended up coping with their loss. But let me simply ask you a few questions, and then based on those answers, you can simply debunk it yourself, right? Take a look up on the screen. In 1802, after a brief period when the French National Convention had abolished slavery in 1794, Napoleon made the decision to reinstate slavery in various French colonies, including Martinique, and subsequently extended the policy to other islands like Guadeloupe and French Guiana, etc., etc. This move was driven by a desire to restore the economic prosperity of these colonies, which relied on slave labor. Right. So that means in 1802, the French government sent out military expeditions to multiple territories. It was not only the French colony of Saint-Domingue. It was not only Haiti at the time. It was all their territories in the Caribbean. They came and returned to restore slavery. It just so happened that in one island in particular, they failed to do so. Now, I ask you, because those who bring up yellow fever, how come the yellow fever was not active in Martinique? How come the yellow fever was not active in French Guiana? How come the yellow fever was not active in Guadeloupe? Because even though the history is not really talked about, the insurgents in Haiti were not the only ones in open rebellion. There was open rebellion across all the French territories. So I ask you again, how come the yellow fever did not take out the French troops in all their other territories? Only in the French colony of Saint-Domingue, they had the super mosquitoes that decimated all the European troops. I find that very ironic. So the French, they went to West Africa. They went all over the Caribbean. They went to various places. They even went to North America. But the mosquitoes in the French colony of Saint-Domingue were just on another level, right? That took out the whole regiment. Okay. Like I said, man, you're the son of the colonists. So you're regurgitating the propaganda that was put up by your father, the European pedophile, right? Now, first things first, I want to give a shout out to the ancestor, the legendary ancestor, Louis Delgrès, right? Take a look up on the screen. General Louis Delgrès was a leader of the movement in Guadeloupe resisting reoccupation and the reinstitution of slavery by Napoleonic France in 1802, right? So it wasn't only the black men down in Haiti that was in rebellion. It was black men all over the colonies that was in rebellion, right? Take a look up on the screen. The French army, led by General Richepince, drove Delgrès into Fort Saint-Charles, which was held by formerly enslaved Guadeloupeans. After realizing that he could not prevail and refusing to surrender, Delgrès was left with roughly 1,000 men and some women. At the Battle of Matuba on the 28th of May, 1802, Delgrès and some of his followers ignited their gunpowder stores, committing suicide in the process in an attempt to kill as many French soldiers as possible, right? So when the French went to Guadeloupe and their other territories, they were successful. Magically, the yellow fever had no effect on them. But you mean to tell me in Saint-Domingue, the yellow fever was just too much to handle? Now, let me tell you the real reason why so many French troops went missing during the war, that a lot of times they simply attributed to yellow fever. Now, apart from the fact that Dessalines and Christophe were simply more superior and more ruthless than the French, apart from that fact, one of a kind men that we have never seen ever since. But Dessalines also had certain intelligence networks to infiltrate the French camps. Now, when a foreign military comes to a territory, what are some of the things they get involved in? They start engaging in relations with the local women, right? But unbeknownst to the French, some of the women that they were dealing with had loyalties to Dessalines and Dessalines' military. So those women were used to extract information, pass on intelligence, in terms of the movement of the troops, and also to poison and set up the French soldiers for assassination, right? So when you see stories about the French dropping like flies, it wasn't because of no yellow fever. It was because of the role played by the Haitian women as well, right? Functioning as double agents to backstab the French soldiers, right? And there were many Haitian women that ended up paying with their lives, right? The French military killed them, hung them in front of the church, right? Rest in peace, Henrietta St. Mark, right? So when you say it was the yellow fever, that was the reason for the victory, you are undermining the contribution made by Haitian women during the revolution, because a lot of French troops mysteriously disappeared and mysteriously died because they were poisoned, right? They poisoned their food, poisoned their drinks. Even during wartime, the French could not stop himself from engaging in degeneracy. So they were still trying to lay up with the local women, and the local women were in the service of Dessalines' military. So a lot of them, like I said, ended up dropping like flies because of that, right? Keep in mind, the women of that time, and still to this day, they were very knowledgeable on things like herbal medicines and how to make poisons. And that became very useful during the war. So we're not going to attribute that to yellow fever and the mosquitoes. No, we're going to acknowledge the fact that the women played a big role in the fact that they poisoned the troops and infiltrated the French camps. But of course, you rather undermine their contributions, just like you want to throw jabs at the women working in the garment sector on behalf of American companies. Like I said, because you're the son of the colonists, right? You're the bastard child of the European pedophile, right? That's why you carry so much hostility and rage towards Haitians. But listen, brother, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that you carry so much defective genetic material, right? You carry the genetic material of crooks and thieves and pedophiles. That's not my fault. You have to take that energy towards the true adversary. That's not my fault. We don't got nothing to do with that. Sitting around cracking jokes about the minimum wage of Haitian women in the garment sector is not going to advance you in any way. Just like Dennis Sperling suing me and trying to sue African nations is not going to advance him in any way. Making up fake history to push an agenda and push a movement and push propaganda is not going to advance you in any way, because guys like me are going to come and debunk you, and I'm going to embarrass you every single time. I'm more intelligent. I'm more articulate. I'm more well-read. I know my history. I know your history. Y'all will never silence me, and I'm going to keep running my mouth as long as y'all keep running y'all mouth. Period. Point blank. Now, anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari, that's Salim, back in the building. Yes, indeed. As you already know, the first video off the next album, 21 Cannons, link in the description, pinned comment at the top. Check it out. Subscribe to the Patreon, NTD1814, and I'm gone. Peace.
Yeah, walk in the room and I stop all that talking. Stay on alert and I'm moving with caution. Feeling like baby, I'm up in New Orleans. Feeling like Stunner, feeling like Wheezy. Look at my nigga, my wrist is Fiji. Trying to get cash, I don't wanna be famous. Look at my nigga, my wrist contagious. Ain't no stopping when I get started. Ain't no stopping, gotta go harder. Drop that top, whip go brainless. Chasing that check, I ain't trying to be famous. Whipping that Benz, feeling like spaceships. Everything official, ain't no fake shit. Doors unlocked, community gated. Look at this ice, bet they gon' hate it. Look at my life, enemy fake. Wish then it's on sight, gun in your faces. Look at that love, turn to hatred. Kill my ops like a Haitian. Ain't no love, ain't no honor, ain't no trust, ain't no conscience. I ain't perfect, but I'm honest. Enemy lurking, enemy watching, enemy stalking, taking photos 24/7. Straight surveillance, hit a new spot, change location. Shorty got wet off my cadence. Just seen ice, but I got papers. Ladies love me, and I got flavors. Ain't no love in these streets. Nègre jaloux, yo méchant. Got them chains off my feet, by the sword and by the gun. They throw flowers at my feet, and they say that I'm the one, and they say that I'm the target. When they see me, they pay homage. Shorty talking about divesting, she with Malibu most wanted. When I go and get that check, I put it up and make it stack. Breaking that bank, whipping that Benzo. When I pull off, it go fast. Need a Fortune 5 accountant just to count up all this cash. Got these samples trying to sue me just to make me walk it back. Yeah, walk in the room and I stop all that talking. Stay on alert and I'm moving with caution. Feeling like baby, I'm up in New Orleans. Feeling like Stunner, feeling like Wheezy. Look at my nigga, my wrist is Fiji. Trying to get cash, I don't wanna be famous. Look at my nigga, my wrist contagious. Ain't no stopping when I get started. Ain't no stopping, gotta go harder. Drop that top, whip go brainless. Chasing that check, I ain't trying to be famous. Whipping that Benz, feeling like spaceships. Everything official, ain't no fake shit. Doors unlocked, community gated. Look at this ice, bet they gon' hate it. Look at my life, enemy vanquished. Jealous on sight, gun in your faces. Look at that love, turn to hatred. Kill my ops like a Haitian. Ain't no love, ain't no honor, ain't no trust, ain't no conscience. I ain't perfect, but I'm honest. Enemy lurking, enemy watching, enemy stalking, taking photos 24/7. Straight surveillance, hit a new spot, change location. Shorty got wet off my cadence. Just seen ice, but I got papers. Ladies love me, and I got flavors. Ain't no love in these streets. Nègre jaloux, yo méchant.